Got it.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. I am Jose Briceño from the Consulate of Mexico, and I want to thank everyone for being here in another event of Steps to College. Right now, today's event is going to be about admissions to private and independent universities. First of all, let me thank you, everyone, for being present in this workshop. Welcome to being here in another event. We will have our students make a presentation, and then we have time to ask. It's going to be about admissions to private and independent universities. Write your questions on the Q&A. Let me thank you, everyone there to be anonymous. For being in you also will have a chat. You can interact among yourself. Welcome to being here in another event. We will have our students make a presentation. Right now, today's event is going to be about admissions to private and independent universities. Write your questions. Let me also at the same time. Before we begin, I want to very briefly introduce you to Susan Reyes. Susan is a very, very dear ally and colleague of the consulate. She joined the Association of Independent California College Universities in March 2019. As legislative coordinator, she plays a key role in advancing AICCU's government relations and public policy initiatives under the direction of the chief lobbyist. Madame Reyes is responsible for coordinating AICCU's Day in the Capitol, the legislative staff briefings, and VIP campus tours, among other duties. She is passionate about the multifaceted work AICCU does in advocacy, branding independent higher education sector, stakeholder engagement, and developing collaborative approaches that serve all California students. So I don't want to take much more of your time, Susan, so please, the floor is yours. And I wish you a lot of luck talking to our audience today. And thank you very much for participating in this edition of Steps to College. The floor is yours, Susan. Thank you so much.
Good morning. Thank you, Jose. Gracias, Jose. It's a pleasure to be here. This is one of my favorite events of the year. Again, like Jose said, I'm here representing the Association of Independent California Colleges and Universities. And I've been with AICCU for 3 years. Prior to that, I worked for the legislature, but I consider myself a lifelong education advocate. And I'm here to present some information, hopefully that is useful to you. So let's go over some session learning objectives today. I'm hoping that today this information will broaden your understanding of the possibilities in higher education. You'll be hearing from one of our student leaders that participates in a program that I manage. It's the Independent California Colleges Advocate Program. So you'll hear from him. I want you to really get beyond the sticker price of an independent California college and university. And that is my goal for today, is like really understand that there is financial aid available and that you can afford and that these institutions are accessible for you. And then learn more about AICCU member institutions and what makes them unique. And also, I'm going to walk you through some strategies to successfully navigate the admissions process, such as how to use the Common App, and how to leverage your academic strengths and your personal profile. And there are resources actually for undocumented students in the independent sector. And also I'll highlight some AICCU upcoming events. So let's get started with, I'll introduce Francisco Javier Villagomez Luna. He is a student at the University of La Verne. He graduates this year. He's a political science major, and he's one of the 12 members of the Independent California Colleges Advocate Program for the 2022 cohort. Francisco is passionate about civic engagement. He works for the Office of Civic Engagement at the University of La Verne. So Francisco, tell us about your experience attending an independent college or university, I should say.
Yeah, thank you, Susan, and good morning, everyone. Yeah, so my experience particularly comes from the experience of a first-generation student. Honestly, at the beginning, it was always kind of like testing the waters with everything, really not knowing what to expect, but expecting just to learn along the process. Being a member of an independent college, I personally think has been one of the best decisions that I've made. Personally, the biggest plus of going to an independent college, in terms of the population size of my campus, has been one of the strongest points for me to highlight. The fact that I have an experience, honestly, like a one-on-one experience with learning with instructors, faculty, administration, and having that direct contact day in and day out with folks has really been an added bonus to my experience. Um, I am here speaking with you all today because of that decision that I made. I have met folks along the way, such as Susan, um, and because of those decisions that I've made, honestly, going to an independent college has been one of the greatest decisions that I personally have made. Additionally, so I would like to touch a bit upon my background. So I am the oldest of three children. I'm the only boy, and so I have two younger sisters. Um, Initially, kind of being the first to do anything, whether it be apply for college, and now I can proudly say that this semester will be my final semester, and I'll be graduating with my bachelor's in political science with a minor in economics. It hasn't been the most simplest experience, but at the same time, I'm very fortunate to have been in the position that I am to be able to guide my younger sisters, more importantly, throughout the process of applying for school, and kind of touching up on the points that I could have probably used a bit more help on along the way. Um, we come from a family that didn't have many access to opportunities along the way, but we did with what we had the means with. Um, Honestly, at the initially when I was applying for college, I knew since a young age that I wanted to go to college. No one in my family ever attempted to go to college, and for many various reasons, which are very justifiable. The needs are very understandable, first and foremost. But personally, I knew I wanted to go to college, but I also had kind of like the fear in a way of like, how am I going to afford this? How am I going to navigate like the expensive costs that are associated with going to college, and especially coming from the community that I come from, that access and is very limited in many ways. And so initially when applying to FAFSA, it also comes with also being a first generation student. Applying for FAFSA was very challenging. I did not understand the terminology. What I was like, they're asking me for tax forms, and I'm like, this seems very personal. This seems very sketchy. I don't know if I'm doing something weird. And on top of that, then like kind of my parents kind of overprotectiveness is like kind of comes in, and they're like, why are they asking for this information? And so that's part of like also being the first and doing all these things, is not knowing what you're getting yourself into, the process of applying. But honestly, ever since after that first year, every year since has been pretty simple in that regards of like the most challenging thing is just getting started, always. um and thankfully I have created allies with a lot of very important individuals that have supported me along the way. And now through my experience of like have been able to take on that challenge, I can now help others along the way. And I know for a fact, for example, right now, uh, so make sure you guys apply for FAFSA because it's very important. I get to have the privilege in helping my younger sisters apply for FAFSA and make sure that they get the financial resources that they're entitled to and that they deserve, so they can continue their education and their journey along the way. And so financial aid was always kind of the overlying kind of thing that was like, how am I going to afford these things? But honestly, Susan, you said it very well at the beginning, is that I think we can get past the sticker price of everything very quickly. The sticker price will always be there. That's just how, colleges function. They have a price that you must pay, but the support for financial aid is there. I am a recipient of Cal Grant, of the Pell Grant, of every grant known to man. So thankfully, because of that, I'm able to continue my studies, and I can now confidently say that I'm in the position to now be able to graduate and pursue my endeavors later on. I plan to, in the future, go to graduate school, hopefully with the right timing. Through being able to go to college, I'm getting real world experience in the things that I love to do, which is, politics, and use my knowledge and skill set and experiences to be able to really contribute back to society, which that's kind of one of the core values that I have, which I highlight in my bio is community service. I really love giving back to my community in every shape, way, or form, whether it be through an opportunity such as this, and be able to even simply guide someone through a FAFSA application, to creating, this is speaking much in the future, creating systemic, everlasting change. And so I am very fortunate to be in this opportunity. Going to the University of La Verne, in my opinion, was arguably the best decision for me. I have met a lot of great faculty members, administration members. They have been very accessible and very kind to me, and always kept me in their thoughts in new opportunities. And so I personally don't think I probably would have had those same opportunities elsewhere at a much bigger institution. And so for those reasons, I'm very much grateful and fortunate to be in the position that I'm in. I personally on campus have had a lot of fun in terms of giving back. So a little bit about what I do on campus. So currently I work in the Office of Civic and Community Engagement. But I started out actually working at the Center for Multicultural Services. So that diversity and inclusivity is another big thing for me. And so I used that platform to really be able to pivot and be where I'm at today. I also on campus started, co-led a organization for voting rights advocacy on campus. And so the University of La Verne allowed me to really flourish in my ideas and what I like to do, and supported me in that regards. And so co-led that organization and really lifted it off the ground. And our basic role was to institutionalize voting culture on campus, which historically college students are in many ways marginalized in terms of voting. And so our job was just plain and simply to educate individuals on the importance of voting, and to exercise their rights. And so a lot of those many experiences that I've had have come from, at the end of the day, being a student at the University of La Verne. And they've given me the tools and resources to be able to do such a thing. And in a way, I always see something as like, they've given me so much, so I the least I can do is give back the same, and a little more, just because that's how I am personally. And so if there's any way that I can give back to folks, I will gladly always do so. And so yeah, that's a little bit about my experience at the University of La Verne. I'm not sure, Susan, if you have any additional questions, I'd be more than happy to answer.
Thank you, Francisco. That was beautifully said. And yes, University of La Verne is a great institution in the San Gabriel Valley. My sister attends there. She was a transfer student from Mount San Antonio College, and I know they have a great partnership there. And yeah, send our best to Dr. Lieberman, the president there. She's an amazing leader there. Yeah, we hope that you can stick around in case students have any questions for you in the chat. If you can answer, take a look in the chat. yeah, so we'll go ahead and move forward. But thank you, Francisco. That was a great testimony, and I hope that was very inspirational. It was very inspirational for me to hear, and refreshing to hear the optimism and the work that you're doing on campus and beyond. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so let's talk about how much will it cost to attend an independent college or university. So the average sticker price is $54,880 for the full cost of attendance. That includes tuition and fees, room and board, books, supplies, transportation, and personal expenses. Yes, that does look significantly higher than a public institution. But I'm going to talk about how the net price can probably be significantly lower given all the aid that you can get. So let's move on. The first thing you need to do is apply for either the FAFSA or the DREAM Act application, the CADA, known as, CADA, depending on your immigration status. So if you're a citizen or legal resident, you would apply for FAFSA. Now, this is important because I still get people who don't realize that independent institutions do actually recognize the FAFSA, and the FAFSA allows you to, the federal government will look at whether you qualify for federal aid, and that would be the Pell Grant. And then the state looks at it to see if you qualify for the Cal Grant. Now, if you have undocumented status, then you would fill out the CADA, and our institutions do provide assistance for undocumented students as well. And I'll talk more about that later. And so in California, thankfully, we have a very progressive policy agenda, and we have the Cal Grant available for undocumented students as well. And you can take that Cal Grant to an independent institution as well. And I put a little note here that says, remember to include the code for each institution that you're interested in. And that's the way that the financial aid department will be able to offer you a financial aid package. They won't know that you're interested in that institution unless you put the code. So that's very important. Okay. Next, there's an additional step in the financial aid process for our institutions. Now there's 14 AICCU institutions that require this additional step. And it's called the CCS profile. It provides additional insight to offer institutional aid. So it's an online application that certain colleges and scholarship programs use to award institutional aid. What is institutional aid? That's funding from endowments, from private contributions that are awarded to students. And the application is free for domestic undergraduate students whose family income is under $100,000 a year. Okay, so I just want to highlight that 68% of undergraduate students at AICCU institutions receive institutional, state, local, or federal grant aid. AICCU as a higher education sector, we have 85 or 80 plus member institutions. They're all WASC, Senior College and University Commission accredited. We're degree granting and nonprofit. So that distinguishes us from the for-profit institutions. So you want to be very careful. We have a website and you can look through the list of all the institutions. Very different from the for-profit institutions. So we don't represent those, and we advocate for you to attend our nonprofit independent colleges and universities. Okay, so our association started in 1955. And the reason being because the state was dealing with the capacity issue. There wasn't enough seats in the public colleges and universities. So the state created what was called the State Scholarship Program at the time, which is now known as the Cal Grant Program, so that students can take that scholarship or the Cal Grant and take it to an independent college or university. So our association formed to provide that advocacy and that coalition building. And so our association has grown over the years. It started in Southern California, I think in the Claremont colleges, and has grown statewide. So we have institutions from Redding all the way to San Diego. And we also focus on, we have a strategic policy plan. And in my role, I focus on public policy, collaborative partnerships, such as with the Mexican consulate, like we're here today. And this is a picture of the students, the last day in the Capitol we had before the pandemic, where the students went to the Capitol to advocate for their Cal Grant. Okay, what makes AICCU institutions unique? We provide personalized attention, as Francisco discussed. We have Hispanic serving institutions, yellow ribbon schools with specialized services for veterans, summer programs, first-gen programs, housing. This is so important for students to not have to worry about where they're going to live. I transferred to USC, and when I transferred to USC, the quality of my life improved. I lived on campus, I had a meal plan, and then had, healthcare services on campus, career services. There's just so much that you can receive from an independent college or university. So where do you start? We have college and transfer guides on our website. You can browse through and see just the high level points of what it takes to apply. Pathway to college. So as I was saying in the beginning, you want to leverage your academic and your personal strengths. So as far as your transcripts, I know one of the biggest questions right now is, are institutions accepting pass or no pass grades? We do have a list on the California Department of Education website. We have 31 AICCU institutions that do accept pass, no pass grades. So you can click on this link to see the list. Our institutions, are trying to be as flexible as possible. We understand the pandemic has caused a lot of heartache and turmoil. So we are trying to be as flexible and accessible as possible. So reach out to the admissions counselors that are here today and ask them those questions. Make sure you get the support that you need on your personal essays, your letters of recommendations. As far as your personal, you want to highlight those extracurricular activities that you're involved in. Purpose. What is the purpose of why you want to go to that particular institution? Do they have a particular mission? For example, Samuel Merritt University focuses on healthcare and social determinant issues. So if you want to be, for example, a nurse because you saw your mom suffer with a particular health issue, you want to write about that in your essay and say that you are interested in that institution because of their focus in that area. And it's okay to show your passion about like certain issues. Like Francisco is passionate about voter engagement. So talk about those issues that you're passionate about. Show interest in the particular school. So your essays are going to be personalized to each individual institution. And then show the ganas. Okay, so we covered the first steps, FAFSA or CADA, plus the CCS profile if it's required by the institution. Your academic and personal equals, you're gonna get a good financial aid package if you do the right steps. Present yourself in this best manner. Okay, steps to admission. And then this is the Common App that I was referring to in my objectives. I want you to become familiar with this website. It will streamline things and it'll make your life so much easier. It's basically a one-stop shop where you can apply to multiple institutions. So it's basically like one application where it'll send it to multiple institutions that you're interested in. And 40 of our undergraduate AICCU institutions participate in Common App. So you want to check those out. If the institution that you're interested in is not on here, if they don't participate in Common App, then you would have to apply separately on their website. Okay, step-by-step admissions process. So this is what it looks like when you click on create my account. So for this workshop, because I'm assuming most of you are first-time applicants, you would click on the first link, first-year student. Well, step one, first gather and organize your materials. So you want to have a system that works for you, whether it's Manila folders or portfolio or digital files. Have a system where nobody's going to touch your paperwork. You keep everything organized, your transcripts, your letters of rec, your resume, your list of extracurricular activities. So you don't have to keep typing it out every time. You can copy and paste and just modify. I talked about creating your Common App account. And then you add the programs. You start adding the institutions and the programs that you're interested in. And then you engage your supporters. So you would send the link to the people that you want to write a letter of recommendation for you. It's all done electronically now. And then the transcripts as well. For those of you high achieving high school students that have also taken college courses, make sure you get those transcripts from those community colleges that you've taken courses at as well. And then make sure you review everything. Don't submit anything on your first try. Always have every single essay document reviewed by, I would say, 3 different people. And then request a fee waiver whenever you're eligible. So never be shy about asking for a fee waiver. So if you qualify for it, ask for it. So set other useful tips, set deadlines for yourself. So you got to work work backwards. So if you know the deadline for the FAFSA and CADA is March 2nd, we're only a few weeks away. So set, a timeline for yourself where you're gonna, talk to your parents about the taxes and start filling out that information. So you're not at the 11th hour trying to submit the form online. Visit the institution's websites and social media channels. That's super easy. Everything's accessible online. Contact the admissions and financial aid departments. Everyone's here today, so take advantage of this event mobile platform. Set up in-person campus visits. You can do that online or do a virtual tour if you can't travel to those locations. Have trusted partners and reviewers review your applications. As I mentioned, don't submit anything on your first try on your first draft of writing it. There will likely be grammar errors or spelling errors or little typos that you won't catch because you've probably been glued to that screen forever and your eyes have glossed over that document. So, and there's always somebody that can give you feedback for stronger verbiage or, just something that you might have missed about yourself, like a key quality about yourself that you didn't think about before. And then seek out information and resources and assistance. you're not in this by yourself. You know, there's people out here willing to help. So you just have to reach out and ask for help. Okay. Now, this is a screenshot of if you're undocumented or have DACA status. Now there's an option to identify as such on the Common App. So this is important because it'll flag it for the financial aid departments at our institution so that they know to look for your CADA application. All right, and here's a screenshot of the California Undocumented Student Resources Map. This is a partnership endeavor that we collaborated with the California Undocumented Coalition. So 12 of our institutions are on this map. So check them out. We have, I've highlighted here Whittier College because my colleague Erasmo Fuentes is giving the Spanish version of this workshop simultaneously right now. But these are the undocu liaisons at 12 of our institutions. Their point of contacts are here on this map, so feel free to reach out to them, check out their website. And, you know, you just never know, you might find that, you know, this institution might be the right fit for you if you have undocumented status or DACA status. Okay, and then a couple of upcoming events for AICCU. We're partnering up with the California Dream Network and CHIRLA on a workshop called Leave No Dreams on the Table. So more information on financial resources and opportunities for undocumented students on February 17th at 3 p.m. Here's the link to register. And also, we're going to have a series of AICCU campus weeks in March. So I invite you to check those out. It's on our website. You can register for that there. And I also invite you to check out the 12 institutions that are here today. Check out their virtual booths. California Lutheran University, they're located in Thousand Oaks, Ventura County. They're a faith-based institution. And they have, I know they have a TRIO program there as well. Dominican University of California, they're in the Bay Area. Mount St. Mary's University of Los Angeles, Catholic University, All Women's University, Loyola Marymount University, also Catholic in Los Angeles, Pomona College, one of the 5 Cs in Claremont, California, Pepperdine University, also another faith-based in the West LA area, University of Redlands, they are in the Inland Empire, and Otis College is a art and design school in Southern California. St. Mary's College of California is in the Bay Area, also a Catholic school. And Samuel Merritt University, they have various locations, and I know they are a sponsor of this event, and they have representatives here today. Santa Clara University, I know they have a workshop presentation going on, I think at 10 o'clock, and University of the Pacific, they are located in Stockton. And this is my contact information. And I think we have reached time. So I am open to questions and comments.
Thank you very, very much, Susan. It was an excellent presentation. I want to also tell Francisco that it was awesome that he shared his experience with us. Surely his experience dealing with all these different institutions will help the students that are watching this event take better decisions. And what you mentioned, no, his talk was very inspirational. I want to thank you very much, Susan, for telling us about what are the nuances about how to apply to private universities. Someone in the chat mentioned that it can be daunting, but actually there are a lot of benefits that are eligible for students to apply to reduce the cost of attending private colleges. I want to thank you so much for mentioning the things about what are the options for DACA students. And lastly, but not least important, I want to invite all of our attendees to visit the virtual booths of the partners that you mentioned. All the different schools and universities have a lot of resources, a lot of information. I have seen that many of the representatives, thank you very much. They have been in our chat participating, answering questions, and they are here to support you. If you have any doubts about how to apply, how to get specific benefits, I have seen that there have been many questions in the chat about how to apply to FAFSA, to whom we should write. And we have these resources, we have these people helping us and willing to answer our questions. I want to invite everyone to visit our chat, to put their questions, to read the things that the representatives have already written, and to visit the virtual booth, because it is a very, very useful and valuable tool. If there is any additional questions, Susan, I will very quickly go through the ones in the chat. And as I mentioned, most of them have been already answered by colleagues like Hannah, like Lorenzo. So I think there are no more new questions, but I want to ask you, Susan, where can people send you new questions if they have to this email they can write you?
Yes, they can email me directly.
Excellent. And also visit the virtual booths. And I don't know, Susan, if you will have a final message to our audience.
Yes, que sí se puede. Que sí se puede, que no tengan miedo. Don't be intimidated. It's only daunting because we've never done it before. But once we go through a process, then it's not daunting.
Excellent. And there are many tools that our partners and our friends and our colleagues like Susan, like Hannah, like everyone from that is represented in the virtual booths is doing to help us and to help us guiding into this road that seems daunting, but we have support. It can be done. Just be brave enough to do it, right?
Sí.
Excellent. So I think that's it, Susan. Thank you so much once again for your participation. If you have one final thing to tell to our audience, I will very much appreciate it again, and we're happy to conclude.
Stop by the AICCU virtual booth and check out our resources and stay in touch with us. Thank you.
Thank you so much.